Welcome back. They couldn't keep us away. It's Rocky Top Review, and we understand, I think it's season 7. What did we say, 7?
Yeah, 7. I've retired.
You've retired several times.
After the 5th, 6th, and hopefully after the 7th year, but I'm back.
And you're like Sugar Ray Leonard. You just keep retiring.
Yeah, but I feel like Sugar Ray after the last couple of fights. So.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Mix 104.1. Talk 101.3 The Buzz and MixTV.tv. Well, Tennessee enters their year 2 of the Josh Heupel era on Rocky Top. Plenty of buzz after a better-than-expected 7-6 season in 2021. Most of that buzz generated by an explosive offense that returns 8 starters and ranked in the top 10 nationally. While the Vols still have some work to do defensively to take another step forward in 2022, improved depth and athleticism on that side of the ball leaves room for optimism. This is year 7 for us, and welcome to Rocky Top Review. Stephen Shelten, Pastor Cox, Jason Cox, North Cleveland Baptist, and
Pastor Rogers. Oh, Commissioner
well,
Rogers.
I was going to say this morning, ladies and gentlemen, and Josh has an announcement here at the top of the broadcast. Commissioner Josh Rogers.
Thank you. Thank you.
He defeated unopposed, which I didn't know.
And it was close.
It was close.
Very close.
You won the bye week.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks. Didn't have to fight really hard this time, but really enjoyed the campaign and thankfully ran unopposed through the primary and the general, and excited to be able to serve Bradley County for the next 4 years. And I guess
it's a bittersweet announcement.
A bittersweet announcement
Yeah.
is that due to me being a Bradley County commissioner now, and the laws and everything that go on with that, I can no longer accept any NIL deals. It's sad. I'll always be a Los Margaritas guy.
Yep.
And I'll always be a Mayfield man.
Yep.
And always support Buc-ee's and everyone else who helped us.
Larry at Town Squire.
Larry at Town Squire.
Yep.
And there were a handful last year. So I appreciate all the support last year with all my NIL deals.
Yep.
And completed all my official commitments to them yesterday, and was able to be sworn in today in the Bradley County Commission. So it's a good day.
This is why I keep retiring.
Yeah, I
it's
don't
stuff
know.
like this right here. This is why
I don't know.
Every year I want to quit.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you keep promising me it's going to get better.
yeah. Well,
It's not even. We're not 5 minutes in.
no,
It's only up
no.
from here.
We're not
It's
even.
only
Listen,
up from here.
I can't imagine the chaos that this guy, along with Denny Collins, is going to cause on that county commission.
Can you imagine?
I may actually watch those on Facebook Live,
That'll
Steve.
be the first day. It won't just be this news station covering them by the time it's over with.
Oh, goodness.
All right, guys. Well, I want to begin with Shelten. Well, here we go. Later tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff. Tennessee welcomes Ball State, but really they begun a whole new campaign.
Yeah, I mean, how good are you defensively? There's the question. I mean, that's the question for this season. Ball State, last year they defeated Bowling Green 38-6 to start the season, and you're sitting here thinking, I remember that. But expectations change, and this year if they don't win by 50 over Ball State, it's going to be a disappointment. Just to be honest. And so I think we know offensively they can score with anybody in the nation, except for Georgia and Alabama. But other than that, in this schedule, there's 10 possible wins in this schedule. Now, I'm not saying they're hold up there, Commission. I'm not saying they're – I didn't say – yeah, okay. I'm not saying they're going to win, but there's 10 winnable games on that schedule this year. But the question is going to be, how good are we going to be defensively?
Jason Cox.
Well, I don't disagree with that. Anytime you return a quarterback that had the season Hendon Hooker had last year, there's going to be a lot of hype. There's going to be a lot of excitement, and there should be. I mean, this guy wasn't the starting quarterback in that Bowling Green game last year, and yet he took over 2 or 3 games in and never looked back. And, man, what a perfect fit for that Josh Heupel offense. We welcome Brew McCoy, a transfer wide receiver from USC, into the fold. He's going to be a nice addition to that offense. And I made a joke several years ago about how Lane Kiffin couldn't spell defense. I don't know that we care to spell defense this year. It's just give us the ball, let's score points, and see if we can outscore you.
Well, you'll have to when you play Alabama and Georgia.
Well, we're not winning those games.
The problem is when you have an offense, the defense that stayed on the field 39 minutes a game last year. And then 31 minutes a game last year, and then you have an offense that scored as quickly as we did. We gave up 500 yards per game the last 4 games, including the bowl game last year. We cannot do that again this year.
Josh, what about him?
Yeah, I mean,
Commissioner.
Yeah, thanks. Like these guys have saying, I mean, it's all about Tennessee's offense this year. I mean, honestly, Hendon Hooker last year led all SEC quarterbacks with 181 passer rating. He was ranked second in the conference with pass yards per attempt per game, or passing yards per attempt. Had 31 touchdowns, threw for almost 3,000 yards. But he's going to miss some wide receivers that he had last year. Bayless Jones is gone. Javonte Payton is gone. But Cedric Tillman's back. That was probably his most favorite target last year. Had a breakout year last year. And like you said as well, Brew McCoy comes back as well. But, really for Tennessee, defense is going to be the struggle. But also for Tennessee is that offensive line. The offensive line ranked last in the SEC last year with 44 sacks given up last year. And so they grow up a little bit. They have a lot of starters back, 4 starters back, and some depth. So really looking forward this year is how well can that offensive line protect Hendon Hooker to where you can get it to these wide receivers and his playmakers. Defensively, got some new guys up front: Byron Young, Taylor Barron, Garland, and I think Omari Thomas is another guy that's coming in. And so for Tennessee defensively this year, I think it's a big season for them. Last year they showed this high-power offense. They showed how great this Heupel offense can be. Now let's see the other side of the ball this year. If they could match what they did last year and they could add defense, add some special teams, 10 wins is a reach, but 9 wins is not. I think Tennessee, you could see a 9 or a 10-win season, honestly, this year from them if that defense comes to play.
Oh, the defense comes to play. That's not the question. Jason and I talked about last year. The effort was always there. They played hard. It was just there was no depth. And you can play hard as you want to, but when you're playing hard and you're having to bend over and touch your knees after every game or after every play, that third and fourth quarter just gets long. We're the best team in the nation, the only undefeated team in the nation the first quarter last year, after the first quarter. After that, it progressively got worse. And I just think if you get depth this year on the defense side of the ball and you keep the intensity that you played with last year, then we could, again, 9-10 win season.
All right, we're going to come back, take our first break here, and when we come back, more Rocky Top Review presented by CHI Memorial. We're back in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. It's the season premiere edition of Rocky Top Review presented by CHI Memorial, and already, after just the first segment, it's only up from here. All right, so I want to go to Commissioner. It's Commissioner Rogers out of the 7th District. Is that correct?
It is the 7th District, yeah. But
And,
just go by Josh.
Could be the shortest tenure, maybe. I don't know. Him or Denny will resign in disgrace on this broadcast.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't wait.
It's going to be great. Josh, what do you got?
No,
Ball State tonight.
Yeah, just to set up kind of the game a little bit with Ball State. Their biggest question mark for Ball State tonight leads into their quarterback, John Paddock. He'll be making his first collegiate career start in Neyland Stadium tonight, and he's replacing Drew Plitt, who was a 3-year starter for Ball State. Paddock played in 1 game in 2018, but hadn't played since. And during that game, he had 34 total passes. So for Ball State, they're going to have to pass a lot to really try to win against Tennessee tonight. He's got some good players that are going to be playing with him. Jason Jackson returns at wide receiver. He was their leading receiver last year for the Cardinals, 69 receptions, 829 yards. They added a Vanderbilt transfer as well. So Ball State has some depth. They have some playmakers. They have some players, but they really defensively is where they've where they're going to struggle tonight, honestly. They lost a lot of players last year, but they do get their linebacker Brandon Martin back. He had to leave last year after an injury, but in 2020 he was the MAC co-defensive player of the year. So it should be a good game in the first quarter, maybe. But that Tennessee offense is really probably going to put them on.
Well, they come in also with Carson Steele, who's a 6'1", 215-pound running back who did almost run for 900 yards last year, but they returned their entire offensive line. And whether in the MAC or whether in Conference USA, I don't care what you're in, when you return the entire offensive line, the continuity that you already have, it will be much better than probably years past. Tennessee's defense has got to get in that backfield and prove they can get some pressure, because looking forward in the next couple of weeks, Jason, if you don't tune up that defense now, you could have a few hard weeks coming down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. You got Pitt coming, you got Florida coming. This game is going to be a great opportunity to play the young guys, to get them some bruises, to get them some game speed, to build a little bit of depth, because you're going to have players get knocked out against Florida, because if you haven't noticed, Florida's big boy football. Pitt's going to be better than what we think. I mean, they lost Kenny Pickett. They're going to be pretty good. They're 16th ranked AP team going into the preseason.
Won the ACC last year.
Yeah, I mean,
quietly.
Yeah, they're a solid team. The only thing I have to add to the Ball State deal is they've made a bowl game in the last 2 years. So, I mean, while we ought to win this game big, this is no slouch. It's a pretty good opponent to begin the season with, a good test, but should be a good opportunity to get some young guys in the game.
Most famous Ball State alum. Most famous Ball State alum. No?
No idea.
Bill Murray.
Very close. Bill Murray was his first guest on both of his shows.
David Letterman.
Wow.
Letterman, the most famous alum from Ball State. Give him a lot of money. I want to go over the schedule now. I want to go, and Shelten, I'll begin with you. What sticks out games coming for UT this season?
So the game at Pitt is critical, because if you win that game, you're 3-0 going into the Florida game. Florida is, if you're a Tennessee fan, this may be the year you need to latch on to the Florida game, because they're going to be down. They're talented. New coach. Program's kind of in a little bit of shambles. You get past that Florida game, and Josh started rolling his eyes, you're 4-0, but then you travel to LSU. Okay? At LSU is a big one. I think at Pitt's a big one. At LSU is a big one, if you're talking about road games. And then you kind of start, you got your Alabama, you got Tennessee Martin, but then you got a little stretch here at the end that's very interesting. I think really the makes or breaks this season when you start looking at after the Tennessee Martin game, you're sitting there, you're either 4-1, 3-2, Josh keeps rolling his eyes. You've got Kentucky at home. You've got Georgia on the road. You've got Missouri at home, at South Carolina, and you end with Vanderbilt on the road. That last stretch of 5 games, I truly, truly believe is the make or break. I think if you lose 2 of the first 5 or 6, you've got Georgia sitting there. Georgia should be the only game on the schedule that I would say that was going to be a tough one. Those other games, but Kentucky's better. South Carolina's a lot better. Again, Missouri, you never know. Shouldn't be great, and Vanderbilt shouldn't be great. But you've got 2 games that can really, those last 5, Kentucky and South Carolina, that could be up for grabs other than the Georgia game.
Josh, what do you think?
Yes. I mean, I agree with you. I think
that was hard.
That was hard.
It was really hard for you to say.
For anyone can win on any Saturday or Thursday, right? I mean, so any team can win. The big thing for me is that if you look at Tennessee's schedule, Pitt is going to be a tough game. It's at Pitt. They have to travel on the road. It's a 3:30 kick, so I mean they'll travel early, but you've got a long week to plan for that. They lost the previous year to Pitt, so that trying to get a little revenge win. But if you look at their schedule, Ball State, Pitt, Akron should be 3-0. Then you go Florida, LSU, Alabama, gauntlet. I mean, Florida's at Knoxville, and the really great thing is in their first 6 games, they have 4 games at home. They go to Pittsburgh to play Pitt, and they go to LSU, and that's it. All the other games are at home. So if we go back to the Alabama game last year, and I'm not going to say that Tennessee will beat Alabama this year. I'm not going to say that this early. But
whoa.
if
That
you
sounded like a
go,
primer.
Whoa.
But if you go-
no, hold on. Let's get it. Let's grab that real quick. As Hartline would say, that's a pivotal moment in this broadcast. What you're saying is there's a chance that you are going to pick Tennessee, Mr. Cox.
That's what I heard.
Now, I heard that there's a chance you.
I think he
If
just picked
you-
Tennessee to beat Alabama.
we watched the Tennessee-Alabama game last year at my father-in-law's house, correct?
Yeah, we did.
Tennessee was winning in the third quarter, correct?
They were.
What did you say in the first segment of this show?
That we were the best team in the first quarter in the nation.
But also, you can't win games when your hands are on your knees because you don't have any depth.
Right.
Tennessee has depth now. If Tennessee comes out and they play like they did in the first three quarters against Alabama like they did last year, Tennessee really shouldn't win or shouldn't lose many games this year. When you look at the schedule,
Love it.
Tennessee, everyone will say Alabama, Georgia, automatic losses. Georgia, automatic loss. And that's me saying that. But Tennessee has a chance to be really good this year. I mean, honestly, they have depth, they have young players, they have dynamic players, and that's what it takes to win. Tennessee is on that road that Georgia started about 5 or 6 years ago, where you start getting number one recruiting classes, you try to get in the top 5, you start getting depth, you start bringing these guys in, you get your team right. Everyone in Knoxville is behind Tennessee. I mean, the Vol letters are back. They've revamped the stadium. They've done so much. And I'll put it on here right now. Tennessee beats Alabama this year.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. Coming right out of the chute. No NIL deal, so we're doing that.
Austin, could you cut that and have it ready in 3 or 4 weeks, please?
Tennessee
Third
beats
Saturday in
Alabama this year.
October, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, Reverend, what sticks out to
Well,
you?
first of all, I would say, Commissioner, that's why you're on this show, because for a Georgia fan to say those words, especially after last year, that's meaningful to a Tennessee fan like me.
They'll still be in second place. They'll still
Well,
be second in the SEC East. They won't go to the
that's
SEC
that's
championship.
fine. We'll come in behind Kentucky. That's all right. Listen, I think when you talk about the schedule, I think if you think Tennessee's a 9-win team, Josh alluded to 9 wins being a real possibility.
Yep.
If you think that, then you have to pay real close attention to Florida and Pitt, because you got to win both those to get to 9 wins. You just have to. If you lose one of those, if you lose both of them, 9 wins is long gone. If you lose one of them, it's going to be real tough. You know, if you think Tennessee's a 7-win team, then you might not have to win either one of those games. So I think as you look at the schedule, those first 2 real tests in Pitt and Florida are pivotal, just of how good can this team be in terms of numbers of wins. I agree with what Stephen Shelten said. Man, this show just keeps getting hard. We keep agreeing.
That's
Shelton.
2.
That's
This is the year to beat Florida. You know, it's just as a Tennessee fan, you look at it and you say, man, it may never happen if we don't do it this year. So, you know, we're going to beat Florida. Dave Molan, wherever you are, we're going to beat you. You know, that Pitt game, I really think that's a true toss-up. So that's the way I see the schedule, just kind of looking at the first third. It's all about how good can this team be. Can we get to 9 wins? Well, you got to win Pitt and Florida. If you think it's a 7-win team, then it probably doesn't matter.
Well, 9 wins if you beat Pitt and Florida. 10 wins. 10 wins if you beat Pitt, Florida, and LSU.
wow.
10 wins if you lose to Florida and you lose to Georgia, but you beat Alabama.
Whoa,
LSU.
man.
Placement. So.
Throwing down the gauntlet. All right, folks, here in just a moment, we're going to come back, take a break here. But, hey, it's a new feature this year of the Vol Network. They are now a 2-hour pregame for the first time in Vol Network history. So we're going to go to the Big Orange Countdown when we're done here. Stand by for that at 5 o'clock. Kickoff at 7 o'clock tonight right here on Mix 104.1, presented by TVFCU. Download the Mix 104.1 app at mymix1041.com. Listen on your phone or mobile device. We're back in a moment. Back for a final segment, the picking portion of Rocky Top Review, presented by CHI Memorial. Well, we're going to start, and most of these games, except for one, will be SEC picks, as we've been doing the last few years. All right, so this Saturday, one of the marquee games, we all know college football really takes over the Labor Day weekend, And Saturday at 3:30, it's Oregon and Georgia. That'll be on ABC, and that is going to happen in Atlanta. So we'll begin with a dog fan, Josh Rogers. What about it?
Yeah, big game to start the year for Georgia, coming off the national championship season for the Dogs. Got some big returner starters coming back.
Hold on. Didn't you promise some money to the empty stocking fund if Georgia won the Natty last year?
He did.
Did you deliver?
I'm not.
Oh,
the empty stocking fund happened after, so it'd be this.
So this year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Money
Stetson,
well spent.
Thank you. Yeah, very much so. Stetson Bennett back, Brock Bowers, Big O, Darnell Washington's back, Karis Jackson, Ladd McConkey from Chatsworth, Adion Mitchell. So big game for Georgia this year, starting versus Oregon, going against their head coach. Georgia wins this game in a close game, 31-21.
And I was wrong. Game's on ESPN, actually, on Saturday at 3:30. All right, Cox, what about it?
Well, I love the matchup. Early season weekends, you don't usually get big marquee names like this, but Oregon coming to Athens or coming to Atlanta. Sorry, that's a long trip. Georgia lost a lot of their defenders from last year, didn't they?
They did.
That vaunted defense was unbelievable, and I don't know how many of them they graduated, or moved on.
Went to the NFL. Yeah, I think there was 9.
9 out of 11. So. Yeah. That's impressive. But I have no doubt they just reloaded, and give me the hairy dogs for this one.
Hey, great thing about Georgia football. Once they win a national championship, we don't have to worry about them for another 40 years. Give me the Oregon Ducks in an upset.
Hey, wait a second. Unbelievable. All right, let's go to another big game. And this will be Cincinnati and Arkansas on Saturday at 3:30. Shelten, I want to begin with you here. There's some interesting tie-ins in this game.
So I'm going to tell you, Cincinnati's better than what you think. They lost some players. I think Arkansas had the season of their dreams last year. That's why I'm taking Cincinnati with the upset over the Razorbacks in week 1.
Wow. What about it, Jason?
I have to disagree. Cincinnati's quarterback is now Steve Hartline's Atlanta Falcon quarterback. He's moved on.
That's right. Desmond Ritter.
He's the backup quarterback in Atlanta now.
Yeah.
And he's good. He's a player.
Yeah.
Arkansas they're just so well coached. They're going to be in his 3rd year. Is that right?
Sam Pittman.
So while I don't see them as an 11-win team, I do think they're solid. Give me the Hogs.
What about it, Joshua?
Yeah, coached by former Georgia line coach Sam Pittman over in Arkansas. There's a lot of people out there who think that Arkansas has a chance to win the West this year. I mean, it's between Alabama, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. Texas A&M is buying their championship. Alabama is a dynasty, and Arkansas is doing it the right way, I guess. But I agree with Shelten here. Count it whatever, number 4. Cincinnati is better than most people believe. 19 ranked Arkansas, 23 Cincinnati. I mean, it's a toss-up game. But give me Cincinnati in this game.
It's Utah and Florida Saturday night, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Jason, what do you make of it?
Well, Billy Napier, a first-year head coach in Gainesville. He's a local boy. He grew up in Murray County down there at Murray County High School. But I think he's probably going to get the program turned around in a better direction in a couple of years. But this first year is going to be rough. Give me Utah probably by a couple of touchdowns.
John, what do you make of it?
Oh, yes. Utah. Can't wait for the Florida season. I mean, if they go 0-12, I would not be happier if I'd get a leg cut off. I mean, I'm telling you, Florida football, I think, will be in shambles by the end of the season. This was a terrible hire. He had interviewed for every big job in the country over the last 3 years, couldn't land one. This was Florida's last big hope to grab a coach that someone's heard of, because everyone that interviewed knew what was going on there. Forget it. Florida goes down. They're 6-6 this year.
Josh.
Wow. I don't know who's worse, Florida or Florida State. I think they're probably the 2 worst teams in the state of Florida, behind UCF and Miami. Former national champion UCF.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. I think Florida is a 2-10 season this year for them. Their only wins are Tennessee and Florida State. I think Tennessee can't beat Florida.
If he's
but
here next week, I'm not coming.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
You-
Don't be stuck on
This
me
is
then.
it. Yeah. That's it.
Utah,
All right, Sugar Ray.
Utah, big.
Utah big.
Big.
We're going to have to go a little lightning round now, guys. Sunday night, Florida State, LSU, 7:30 on ABC, Shelton.
Brian Kelly, first win, LSU.
Josh.
Yeah, LSU first win and one of the last wins of the season.
Cox.
Go Tiger, LSU.
And the marquee game of the weekend actually is in Columbus, Ohio. We'll send this one out to Adam Lewis. But Notre Dame, Ohio State, Saturday night, 7:30, ABC, Josh Rogers.
Pass.
Jason.
Dot the I, Ohio State.
And Shelton.
I'd rather be shot and pick this one.
Ohio State wins at home. And then here we go tonight. Ball State, Tennessee and Knoxville at Neyland Stadium kickoff, 7 o'clock. Jason.
Give me the big orange.
Josh.
Yeah, I'll let Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, like what he said. It's game week. Let's go play ball. Tennessee 45, Ball State 17.
And Shelton.
64-12, Tennessee.
And that'll do it. It's Rocky Top Review presented by CHI Memorial. Get ready. It's time to join the Vol Network and the Big Orange Countdown, the new 2-hour pregame show. Let's head to the network.